This is a must-read. FBI Anon, September 13, 2018. Beginning on July 2nd, 2016, a series of posts were made by a self-identified FBI insider known as FBI Anon, relating to the Hillary Clinton HRC email and Clinton Foundation CF investigations and the pending conspiracy of FBI Director James Comey and Attorney General Loretta Lynch to quash. The following provides backstory context to the events unfolding today. FBI Anon is a high-level analyst strategist at the Federal Bureau of Investigation whose job is to look at the records, analyze, and add notes. Much of the explosive content has been undisclosed until recently. There is intense pressure within the FBI not to indict Hillary. I am posting from a position of near anonymity with enough plausible deniability to evade prosecution, as we are all under gag orders. There is enough evidence for Hillary and the entire government to be brought down. People do not realize how enormous this whole situation actually is. Whether she is indicted or not depends how much info gets out. The real point of interest is the Clinton Foundation, not the email server. While Hillary's history of corruption and carnage goes back decades, the period leading up to and including Benghazi was a quantum leap in scale. Anyone associated with the investigation is sworn to secrecy. Any leaks would cost his or her job and most likely jail time to boot. Worst case scenario, anyone who crosses the Clintons tends to meet with an unexplained early demise. Brown and Vince Forster were no exceptions. From a law enforcement aspect, dealing solely with Hillary does not solve the problem. The Clinton Foundation, with its massive spider web of connections and money laundering, implicates hundreds of high-level people. The Department of Justice, DOJ, is most likely looking to save itself. My opinion is the entire government is guilty of treason. FBI Director Comey is trying to stall because he does not want to face the Clinton machine as well as the rest of Washington, D.C. After Benghazi, the concept of plausible explanations was forever dismissed. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton concocted a transaction with the bin Laden family to provide classified information for big money. She used Ambassador Chris Stevens to arrange a transfer of $1.2 billion to the Clinton Foundation in Swiss accounts. The deal was highly classified files, including nuclear and military information for cash. She had Stevens in the Pentagon receiving a server to take with him to Benghazi. There was also a backup server in her closet. She then allowed the bin Ladens to mass insurgents to raid Stevens' compound. Stevens had no idea what he brokered and had no clue what the server contained. The plan was going great until the Navy SEALs and CIA from the other compound responded to the attack. She was unaware of their support and ordered a stand down. The deal was to kill the Stevens envoy and in the process allow the bin Laden family to have nuclear secrets. It went south when the other compound refused to stand down. They got to the consulate in time to rescue the staff, except for the Ambassador Stevens and Information Officer Sean Smith, and a big bonus, they ended up with the server. Once word got back to the White House that the consulate team was rescued, Hillary ordered a complete stand down to the rescue mission and surreptitiously told the commander of the invading force to attack the other compound. By that time, she wanted everyone dead and the enemy to have that server. During the attack on the CIA compound, a technician got into the server and discovered something very odd. Top secret nuclear files. He immediately broke standard protocol and transferred the files to a top secret server in the event they were overwhelmed. By this time, Hillary had already fabricated the story that a pastor in California made a YouTube video that caused a mob to attack. A total lie. In the chaos, To fulfill her end of the deal, she furiously emailed files to random staff members by accident, allowing the bin Laden family to intercept, prearranged the data while it was in motion. At this point, some of her staff, outraged by the betrayal, planned to defect and ultimately leaked the DNC emails to WikiLeaks. When told the Benghazi server was destroyed, she, Hillary, believed it. At least she hoped it was true. We, the FBI, received the server from Benghazi, found data on the CF, and realized the situation was far worse than previously thought. Hillary had special access programs on her server, which, if made public, would literally cause an uprising and possible foreign declarations of war due to our secret operations in sovereign states. A special access program is intelligence classified above top secret. These programs are supposed to be held on closed servers at secret locations, SCIF. The only way to get in is if you are specifically read in on a program or have a need to know. Then you must physically go to a location and pass through several layers of security to even look at the program. A good example, in non-classified terms, would be the locations and operations of our intelligence operatives around the globe, knock list, or our nuclear missile silo locations. The server revealed the treasonous specifics of Saudi Arabian visits and donations to the CF, the Uranium One fiasco, and much, much more. But the most disturbing was the Obama administration's transfer of Davy Crockett's M388 nuclear mortals to the enemy. That's right, Obama gave nukes to the enemy of not only the United States, but of Russia as well. Ultimately, one of these weapons killed 20 Russian troops in Syria. An American nuke killed 20 Russians. Putin responded by ordering a nuclear evacuation drill of 40 million Russians to send Hillary a message he was preparing if she got in. The remaining 6 Davy Crockett's are in the hands of Iran, along with $150 billion. Hillary sold SAPs to overseas donors when just possessing them makes her guilty of treason. Most alarmingly, the server exposed Hillary's sold weapons and coordinates of the Chinook helicopter, killing all 38 on board, including 17 Navy SEALs, to the bin Laden family. The death penalty seems insufficient for this level of treason. Even more insane were the payoffs to those who knew. A total of $1.7 trillion in grants was appropriated to spread the wealth amongst politicians to sweep things under the rug. The money was granted by Obama to Middle Eastern nations, then funneled back to our politicians and bureaucrats through a complex series of Swiss entities. The Clintons have hundreds of these entities alone. Of the money granted, John McCain was at the top of the list of recipients with many other Republicans. Just trace those who campaigned against Trump, and it will lead to all who are guilty. Obama opened a shell company, Iron Eagle, in neighboring Jordan as the hub to facilitate the black op transfer of uranium into Syria. McCain was the point man to receive and transport it into the deep state and eventually to an Iranian nuke facility. Our spec ops and Marines intercepted and caught McCain in the act, so to speak. George Soros is at the nucleus of nearly all U.S. political corruption. He funds, instructs, and influences every level of the U.S. government, right down to the tax code. Everything is corrupt. The entire government is corrupt. No one is clean. Our hands tied. There is much more that is too dark for anyone to stomach. My message to you and everyone on this board is do not get distracted by Clinton's emails. Focus on the foundation. All of the nightmarish truth is there. The emails pale in comparison. Between the servers, the horrific killing of the SEALs, the nuclear information, the Davy Crockett's, the SAP sales, the $150 billion to Iran, and the $1.7 trillion of funneled hush money, there is enough to hang them all for high treason. That is why all Democrats, all Republicans, and all media are against Trump. They all know what happens now. They are now choosing a 2020 U.S. presidential candidate with a $3 billion bankroll to push his election in hopes of taking the White House, to push back the trials and then grant themselves pardons.